Wow. Yeah. All right. That piece there was directed at one individual. That's the individual that it's directed at is not important. Um, and that's not what this whole thing is about. A lot of those videos were from older times, and yeah, some of it's still true, and blah blah blah. You gotta be decent with people in life, people. This is an amusement park ride. Woo! And we're all on it. Just on an amusement park ride. That's it. Just an amusement park ride. And I'm just a amusement park attendant. You see, at the end of the day, everything that happens in your reality happens in your head. Like right now, if you think I'm on the screen. Close your eyes for a minute. Just for a minute. And you're going to see me in your head. Realize that everything that happens in your life is only happening in your head. So the experiences that I'm sharing here are just to kind of bring home the point that even though you see it happening outside of my head, it really only happened inside my head. And summarizing it the way that I did, after all that I've been through, and sitting here with nothing more than a half a bag of chickpeas, a half a bag of lentils, and a half a bag of rice. No work, no chicken in the pot, no beer in the box, and no gas in the truck. There is no more beer. Blah, blah, blah. You come to a realization that what's important in life is the experience of it. And there's going to be a lot of pain and suffering in the process until you realize that you had to have that pain and suffering to get to where you come to an understanding that you don't know anything. And you have to embrace the concept of not knowing anything so that you can move beyond this imaginary sense of self that you have in your head, which is an identity that you subscribe to. I'm white, I'm wealthy, I'm educated, I'm this job or that job. You know, I'm this title and that title. I have this status, I have this power, I have this authority. You know, none of that actually matters. Success doesn't come from what other people think of you. Success comes from what you think of you. And in order to feel as though you've done the best you can do, you need to see this as an amusement park ride and enjoy the roller coaster. I mean, break it down for yourself. This entire physical, material realm that you live in is comprised of 5 elements. Those elements are very simply earth and water, fire, air, and sky. In the English language, it's a little difficult to comprehend, see, because English falls short of being able to deal with the metaphysical world. So it might be beneficial for you to understand that earth and water and fire and air and sky are actually rooted in a concept that is mind-bogglingly simple and incredibly entertaining. Um, there's a simple way to understand these 5 elements in the language of Sanskritam. English is good for the material realm because it tells you how to deal with those things that you can touch and feel, those things with boundaries and borders. Those things without boundaries and borders is the metaphysical, and they're like water. You know that it's there, but it's like air. You know that it's there, but it's like the sky. You know that it's there, but it's like fire, but you can't grab it. The only thing that's tangible is the earth. And those are made up of boundaries. And the way that you perceive your reality of these 5 elements comes from the Sanskrit language, as I was just saying. And those terms are na is earth, N-A, na. Water is ma, because you come from water. When mommy and daddy got together, mud was made, and you're the mud. Okay, so earth and water are the first 2 elements, and that comes to fire. Fire is because she is hot, and that's what fire is called. So we've got na for earth, ma for water, and she for the fire because ma is hot. That's when you guys were making mud that made you, see? And when you were born, the first thing you said was, ah, because they spanked you on the ass. And then they put you in a pair of goggles. They looked at you upside down and they saw, oh, long urethra, and would throw you in the blue bucket. Put blue goggles on this one, give them a blue blankie, a little blue binky, little blue goggles, and a little blue plastic gun, and everyone around said, oh, what a little heartbreaker. Oh, what a heartbreaker he's gonna be. And if you came out a female, you got, they flipped you over. Oh, short urethra. Stick it in a pink blanket. Give it a pink binky. A pink blankie, pink binky, pink baby doll, and some pink goggles. And, oh, what a heartbreaker she's going to be. Oh, she's going to be a heartbreaker. And you're socialized in this Western society. Eastern society doesn't do that. Not in that fashion. So now we went through the na is the earth, the ma is the water, she is the fire, va is the air that you just made when you're born and got those little goggles, pink or blue. Don't get all tangled up on the pronouns yet. We'll get to that. And then all of that happens under the sky, the ether. And that's called va. So it's na, ma, shi, va, ya. Na, ma, shi, va, ya. Namah Shivaya. Om. Om was the first thing as a baby. You know this stuff in your heart. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. And this is what Shiva looks like in your mind. But that's my mind. That's my mind. That's my Shiva, my Adiyogi, the first yogi. I learned that through a gentleman by the name of Sadhguru, who you might want to Google if you haven't heard of him. And this earth that you live on is made of soil. You come from the soil, you live off of the soil, you're sitting upon the soil or standing upon the soil. And at some point, you're going to go back to the soil. And the soil is the one thing, short of an electromagnetic pulse that fries us all, or an asteroid that collides into us, or some other natural disaster that's happened in the historical record time and time again. You know, end of the world, zombie apocalypse, prepper, blah, blah, blah. The one reality of all of this is there's one thing you cannot fuck up in life, and that's dying. You were born to do it. You need to get cool with that. You need to get cool with that whole concept. Because in this material realm, on that Namah Shivaya, that earth, that water, that fire, that air, and that sky, you've been given a gift of life. And that gift of life is real simple. And you've been given the gift of life. And that gift of life is real simple. You have 5 senses that go with your 5 elements that allow you to perceive this reality. That's your sight, your sound, your taste, your touch, and your smell. Let's give you Shiva again. You should be able to see right here. You got your eyeballs, your nose, your mouth, your ears, and your fingers. So from this little bubble, this sort of teetering bulb on your neck, that's what makes you who you are. Now, from an animal perspective, in the form of survival, it's not such a difficult concept to understand that an animal has the same senses. It feeds, it fights, and it fucks, and it lives its beautiful life. It doesn't have to think about things. We're human. It's a blessing that we have this mind, which is the thing that gives us the separation from the animal, our intellect, our intelligence, our head, our simple brain. So take these 5 senses, take these 5 elements, know that all of this is happening in your head, and that it's a simple process to understand that your head operates in a very simple way. You've been given an intelligence. You're intelligent. To be intelligent means that you're going to have experiences that all happen within your head. They fall into 2 buckets. One bucket is called memory, and that memory has a fog over it. The other bucket is the bucket of imagination. Now, the foggy bucket of memory it changes, and from the time that things go into the bucket of memory, you're plucking out little tidbits of information that you're going to do better next time or imagine, and that's basically the future. So your memory is your past, your imagination is your future, but that imagination is very vivid. And having a vivid imagination is a woulda, coulda, shoulda, landa, ought. You know, I woulda, I coulda, I mighta, I sure as hell next time I'm a gonna. And the woulda, coulda, shoulda, landa, ought is a bunch of bullshit. And as you're doing all of this, how your mind is operating is hopefully you've got a sharp mind. Do you have a sharp mind? Or you have a dull mind? You guys, it's like a tool. Are you the kind of person that uses a hammer and smashes through life? Or do you have a scalpel and you sort of slice and dice life? That's called your intellect. So between your memory bucket and your vivid imagination bucket, you're slicing and dicing life into these little pieces. That's how you was educated. That's probably your upbringing. Because sadly, they raised you. But you don't raise humans. You raise farm animals. So, see, to raise a farm animal, chickens and pigs and cows and sheep and horses and goats and all of that, it's going to be consumed. Were you raised to be consumed? No. Yes? Maybe? Well, that's the education system that we have today. So, first thing is they're telling you things that you need to know outside of you. That's not going to help you. You need to go inside of you to understand the 5 elements, the 5 senses, and that teetering bulb on your neck, on your shoulders, called your head, that is comprised of that bucket of memory with the fog over it, and that other bucket of imagination, the vivid one, and that sharp intellect that cuts everything up, and become intelligent and process that within yourself. Understand that you're not a barn animal and that you were not raised to be consumed. So you need to re-educate yourself. You need to read your user's manual. And the only way to do that is through Sanskrit. Sanskritam. Not the English language. The English language does not deal with those things beyond the physical realm. You need to get into the metaphysical, those things that are illogical, those things that don't quite make sense. I'll touch on it in a minute.